Before I'm jumping in with today's video, I would just like to say I am sorry for not uploading. I did say I was going to upload and I never did, and I'm pretty sure you're wondering why. Yeah, my PC broke and I had to send it off to get repaired, and I've literally only just got it back this morning. So yeah, I went and collected it, and yeah, first thing I'm doing is doing a video for you guys. So yeah, sorry about that, and I hope it's worth the wait. So on today's video, we're going to be reading through 57 facts about the Titanic. This video was actually requested by one of the subscribers, and yeah, I did say I was going to do it ages ago, but I'm not going to lie, I did totally forget about it. So yeah, it was only on a recent video or post. They commented asking when I was going to do it. So yeah, this one's for you, and sorry for your wait. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and I'll jump in with fact number 1. The Titanic lies 12,600 feet underwater. The ruins of the Titanic lie nearly 2.5 miles beneath the surface of the ocean, approximately 170 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. Fact number 2. The iceberg that hit the ship may have jutted out over 100 feet above the water. The iceberg that the Titanic collided with is speculated to have been anywhere from 50 to 100 feet above the water. The entire iceberg is believed to have been between 200 and 400 feet long. Wow. That's the thing with icebergs. They might not look that big from the top, but they go right under the surface, and yeah, can cause serious problems with ships, as the Titanic found out. Fact number 3. Over half of the people on board could have survived if all of the space available on the lifeboats was used. That's terrible. I wonder why they didn't use it. Fact number 4. Milton Hershey was supposed to be on the Titanic. Milton Hershey, the man who invented the famed Hershey's milk chocolate bar, wrote a $300 check to reserve his stateroom on the Titanic. Business took precedence, and Hershey and his wife missed out on the excursion. I was so lucky. Fact number 5. Only 3 of the Titanic's 4 funnels worked. The robust ship's 4 funnels were partially for show. Only 3 of the funnels ejected soot. The other was merely used for ventilation purposes and added a certain majestic to the ship. So yeah, for anybody knows what, don't know what the funnels are, it's literally just them big chimneys that come out of the top of the ship, and there's 4 of them. So yeah, one was just for show, which is a bit weird. Fact number 6. The first lifeboat was released an hour after the iceberg struck. It may seem like common sense for a ship to immediately release safety lifeboats upon a hull breach. The Titanic, however, did not release its first lifeboat until an entire hour elapsed. And I'm pretty sure that's probably because they thought the ship was unsinkable. Yeah, which it clearly wasn't. Unless that's just what they said about the ship, it was unsinkable to sell tickets, I don't know. Fact number 7. A specific bacteria is slowly consuming the wreckage. What remains of the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean will eventually be entirely eaten surfaces and form the rusticles seen on the hull of the wreckage. Fact number 8. The ship carried 2,223 passengers and crew. Of the 2,223 people on board the Titanic, 1,517 did not survive the collision with the Iceberg. The ship was not even at full capacity. It could hold more than 3,500 people. Imagine being on that ship and that happening, and then everybody saying that there's not enough room on the lifeboats, and you're going down with the ship. I would have took all the doors off me and built some sort of boat. Fact number 9. Some 100,000 people attended the ship's launch. The first time the immense White Star liner made its way into the water was on May 31st, 1911, in Belfast. It's estimated that 100,000 people, or roughly 1/3 of the population in Belfast, watched the just over a minute-long launch. Fact number 10. The ship was just under 900 feet long. Wow. The Titanic measured 882 feet and 9 inches in length, making it the biggest vessel of its time. Today the largest cruise ship is Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas, clocking in at nearly 1,200 feet long. Fact number 11. The chief baker treaded water for 2 hours before being rescued. The chief baker, Charles Joggin, supposedly treaded water for 2 hours before he was found. He claimed the copious amounts of whiskey he had consumed before the ship sank had kept his body warm enough to sustain sub-freezing water. And yeah, it definitely wasn't the whiskey if he did tread for 2 hours, because that's been proven not to be true. Yeah, whiskey doesn't keep you warm. If anything, it does the opposite, especially in them conditions. So yeah, it definitely wasn't the whiskey that made him do it. Fact number 12. The ship burned an estimated 825 tons of coal per day. The Titanic was far from a light craft, weighing some 46,000 tons. This behemoth of a vessel burned a reported 825 tons of coal per day in 159 furnaces that heated 29 boilers. Wow. Fact number 13. The ship cost over $7 million to construct. That's a lot of money, especially back in them times. The giant vessel cost $7.5 million to build in the early 20th century, which would be equivalent to $183.4 million today. Wow. Fact number 14. 2 workers died while building the ship. We know for certain that 2 workers died during the construction of the ship, but there might have been others who were killed. Samuel Joseph Scott, 15, fell from a ladder and fatally fractured his skull. James Dobbins was squashed by timber that fell while transporting the Titanic from the shipyard to the dock where it launched. Wow, that's sad. Fact number 15. The ship took over 2 years to build. The ship took 26 months to build. Construction crews used 3 million rivets to build the 26,000-ton hull, a combination of iron and steel The ship's main anchor weighed 16 tons, wow, or more than 30,000 pounds. 20 horses were required to transport the anchor 2 miles from the casting site in the town of Netherton to the train station in Dudley in 1911. Fact number 17. The Titanic's last lunch menu sold for tens of thousands of dollars. On September the 30th, 2015, a private collector bought the Titanic's last first-class lunch menu in an online auction for $88,000. Wow. And that's literally just the menu. What? The collector paid $18,000 more than the initial maximum price. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm totally happy to create a lunch menu, and yeah, I'll take $500, $1,000. So yeah, feel free to comment below if you are interested in ASMR Learn's lunch menu. Fact number 18. Only 23 of the 908 crew on board were female. Of the 23 female crew members, only 3 did not survive the collision. Of the 885 male crew members, a tragic 693 went down with the ship. It's so sad. Fact number 19. Less than a third of all people on board the ship survived. Only 705 of the 2,223 passengers and crew members made it back home. Some 61% of the passengers who survived were first-class guests. Less than 25% of third-class passengers survived. Wow. Fact number 20. The temperature of the seawater was below freezing when the ship sank. Yeah, so I mean, God knows how that guy treaded water for 2 hours. I mean, it takes minutes for you to, well, yeah, die in temperatures like that. So yeah, 2 hours, wow. According to measurements taken by Captain Stanley Lord of the SS Californian, a ship that was near the Titanic when it sank, water temperatures were as cold as 28 degrees Fahrenheit. The human body can survive up to 45 minutes in freezing water, according to the Life Jacket Association. So yeah, not minutes, but I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure it would take you minutes before you'd start shaking and struggling to swim. So yeah, if you can do 45, good on you. Happy dead in 30 seconds, me. It's getting a bit deep for ASMR, this. Fact number 21. 14,000 gallons of drinking water were consumed each day on the ship. For perspective, 1 gallon of water is equivalent to 16 cups. So 14,000 gallons means there were 224,000 cups of water distributed among some 2,223 people every 24 hours. Wow. That's a lot of cups of water. Fact number 22. The Titanic was able to carry 64 lifeboats, but only carried 20. Why? Many of the lifeboats that were launched from the Titanic did not pack as many patrons then again, that spare room on the lifeboats was probably taken up by the eggs. Fact number 24. The SS Californian was nearby when the Titanic sunk. Controversy exists to this day as to how close the SS Californian was to the Titanic when it struck the iceberg. Californian Captain Stanley Lord testified that his ship was 19 to 21 miles from the stricken ship. Fact number 25. The iceberg made a 300-foot gash in the hull of the boat. Titanic Captain Edward Smith believed the ship had grazed over the top of the iceberg, but he was in for a rude awakening. When the crew assessed the site of the strike, 5 compartments had already flooded with water and the boat was already beginning to submerge. I'm guessing that's why it took so long to deploy the boats. I just feel like there was so many little mistakes that just amounted to a complete catastrophe. It's crazy. Fact number 26. 2 young brothers survived the ship without a guardian. Oh, that's good. Edmund and Michael Navratil went down in history as the only children to survive the Titanic without a parent. They were 2 years apart in age and were nicknamed the Titanic Orphans. Their father, Michael, kidnapped them from their mother, whom he was no longer with, and planned to take them to America. The last anyone saw of him was when he put his children in a lifeboat. Well, I mean, he kidnapped them, so that's not one good thing, but at least he put them in the lifeboat and thought of them before himself. So, is that redemption? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. Fact number 27. Royal Mail Streamer RMS. Titanic was the official name. The designation Royal Mail Streamer or RMS has been around since the mid-19th century because mail had to arrive on time and ships were penalised for delays. The designation was a mark of quality. Nearly 200 ships, including the Titanic, received the designation. Fact number 28. It took over 7 decades to find the ship's ruins. Wow. The remains of the Titanic were not found until 1985, about 73 years after the vessel sunk. Wow. Dr. Robert D. Ballard of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Massachusetts, wow, that was a mouthful, and a team of American and French researchers discovered the wreckage with the help of a robot submarine. Fact number 29. First class patrons got to enjoy a heated swimming pool. Passengers who were able to afford first class tickets enjoyed luxurious treatments and many indulgences. The wealthy got to taste delicacies at Parisian cafes, relax in tea gardens, read in the library and play tennis in the squash court, just to name a few of the first class perks. Wow. Do you know, I was thinking then they were going to say there was a private zoo. I was going to be in shock. Fact number 30. There was plenty of liquor and cigars on board. There were 20,000 bottles of beer and 1,500 bottles of wine stocked on the ship. In addition to plentiful alcohol, there were 8,000 cigars on board, all of which were available songs as the ship went down. It's unclear which songs were played as the ship went down, but one can only imagine how somber the atmosphere must have been. In the movie Titanic, one of the songs played was Nearer My God to Thee, which is believed to be the last song played on the ship in real life. God. That must have been absolutely heartbreaking. How could they stand there and play music when that's going on? That's bravery. Heroes come in all shapes and sizes, I suppose. Fact number 32. 6,000 artifacts were recovered from the wreckage site. Treasures rescued from the Titanic are in high demand. Among the 6,000 artifacts was a violin that sold for 1.7 million, oh my god, in 2013 at an auction house in the United Kingdom. The Titanic ship plan sold in 2011 for 336,000. Wow. I mean, that you could only dream of that kind of money. Fact number 33. John Jacob Astor was the wealthiest man aboard. The heir of the Astor family fortune was by far the richest individual on the ship, worth an estimated 85 million at the time, or about 2 billion today. He perished along with the ship. Fact number 34. The iceberg was first spotted at 11:30 p.m. on April the 14th. A lookout spotted the iceberg and frantically rang the warning bell. The ship was hastily turned at a sharp angle to avoid hitting it, but it was too late. Fact number 35. An optical illusion may have prevented spotting the iceberg on time. According to historian Tim Maltin, atmospheric conditions the night the ship sank likely caused super refraction, which could have camouflaged the iceberg. This may explain why the iceberg wasn't spotted until the ship was too near it to maneuver out of the way. And for anybody that doesn't know what super refraction is, it's kind of, in short terms, it's just like a bending of light that causes like a mirage kind of thing. Fact number 36. Only 28 people boarded the first lifeboat, but it had the space to carry 65 people. It was one of only 20 lifeboats. That is crazy. Why would they do that? Though the Titanic had the capacity to carry 64. That is mental. Fact number 37. First class passengers received a music book containing 352 songs. Musicians aboard were expected to learn all of the songs prior to the trip in the event that a guest requested one of them. Fact number 38. 11 Titanic ships could be built with the Titanic film revenue. It's speculated that the Titanic would cost nearly 200 million to build today. James Cameron's adaptation of the Titanic grossed over 2.2 billion worldwide, which would be enough to fund the construction of nearly 11 new Titanic ships. Wow. Fact number 39. Guggenheim faced disaster in style. American businessman Benjamin Guggenheim and his valet Victor Giglio, I've probably butchered sinking. Guggenheim reportedly said, "We've dressed up in our best and prepared to go down like gentlemen." Fact number 40. 13 couples aboard the Titanic were on their honeymoon. 13 newlywed couples were honeymooning on the Titanic in each of the passenger classes. Among them were Nellie Stevenson and John Pillsbury Snyder, who was the grandson of the founder of the Pillsbury Company. Newlyweds were among those given preference for the lifeboats. Fact number 41. The ship's top speed was 23 knots. 23 knots is equivalent to about 26 miles per hour today. The average cruise ship speed is 20 knots or 23 miles per hour. Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas has a top speed of 25 knots, nearly 29 miles per hour. Fact number 42. There were only two bathtubs available for all third class passengers. There were 706 third class passengers on the Titanic who paid between £3 and £8 to make the crossing, and they only had 2 bathtubs. My God. Fact number 43. New evidence suggests a fire in the ship's hull caused the ship's demise. According to the documentary Titanic, the new evidence, a fire aboard the ship prior to its departure may have led to the disaster. Journalist Sinan Maloney suggests that the metal had weakened because of an ongoing fire in the ship's hull. The fire burned at temperatures of 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 weeks prior to the ship's departure. Fact number 44. The youngest passenger on the Titanic was 2 months old. Melvina Dean was the youngest passenger aboard the ship and the longest living survivor. She died at the age of 97 in 2009. At least she won't remember being on the ship, bless her. Fact number 45. 40,000 people met the survivors in New York. The RMS Carpathia transported the 700 plus survivors to New York and were met by 40,000 people. I wouldn't even get on another ship, me. I'd just stay wherever I was. I'd say, right, I'm living here now, that's it, done. No chance you getting me back on a ship. Fact number 46. 3 feature films were made about the Titanic. Gene Nicoloesco's Titanic was made in 1953. Roy Baker's A Night to Remember was made in 1958, and James Cameron's Titanic was made in 1997. Fact number 47. A lifeboat drill that was scheduled the day of the crash was cancelled. For reasons that remain a mystery today, the decision to cancel the drill was made by Captain Edward Smith. Fact number 48. Underwater robots took 100,000 plus photos of the ship's wreckage in 2012. An expedition sent underwater robots to the wreckage, and through the use of sonar imaging, took more than 100,000 photos researchers were able to map the 3 by 5 mile debris field. Fact number 49. The Titanic took 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink. In its first report of the tragedy, the New York Times ran a headline that said the Titanic sank 4 hours after hitting the iceberg. Little did the public know that the ship sank at a much faster pace. Fact number 50. 6 iceberg warnings before collision. Evidently, the most critical iceberg warning never made it to Captain Edward Smith because of the lack of the prefix MSG, meaning Master's Service Gram. The acronym would have required the captain to personally acknowledge receipt of the message. Because it did not have the MSG prefix, the senior radio operator did not think the message was important. Fact number 51. Ida Strauss refused to get in the lifeboat without her husband, Isidore. Macy's department store owners from New York, Ida and Isidore Strauss, share perhaps one of the most heart-wrenching love stories of the Titanic. Ida refused to board the lifeboat without her husband, who turned down a spot offered to him, knowing that women and children were still aboard. They perished together. Oh. What a brave man and woman. But if they'd have filled up the spaces on the lifeboats, maybe it could have been different. Not as many would have perished. Fact number 52. Not even a full minute passed between the iceberg sighting and the collision. Sorry, I just got a text message saying that my phone vibrated. I hope you didn't hear it. Only 37 seconds are said to have elapsed from the time the iceberg was sighted until the Titanic collided with the iceberg. Number 53. 2 dogs were rescued from the ship. There were 9 dogs aboard the ship, but only 2 survived, a Pomeranian and a Pekingese. Fact number 54. The last supper served to first-class passengers was an 11-course meal. The menu consisted of, I don't even know what that is, I don't even know how to say it, Verres, like oysters, main courses such as a filet mignon, and desserts like chocolate and vanilla eclairs. Fact number 55. The ship sank very fast. The ship broke in two, and the bow sank to the bottom of this. The bow sank to the sea bottom at an estimated 35 miles per hour, and the stern descended at an estimated 50 miles per hour. Fact number 56. Only a few hundred bodies were recovered after the crash. Rescue ships recovered only 306 bodies from the icy water. Many of the deceased were taken to Halifax, Nova Scotia. And this is the final fact, with fact number 57. The ship slipped beneath the ocean's surface at 2:20 a.m. on April the 15th, 1912. The Titanic, believed to be unsinkable at the time, is one of the biggest disasters in commercial maritime history. Right, that is the last fact and all we have time for on this video. I hope you did find that relaxing. I know some of them facts were a bit sad, but yeah, I hope you still did find it enjoyable. And yeah, sorry about the long wait. And yeah, should be back up to usual schedule now. So yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all on the next video.